Phyllis, two rural worlds, two very different people coming together in one heartwarming classic, Rodgers and Hammerstein's best musical, The King and I. And joining us today is the King of Siam, also known as Adam Jacobs. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I have to say, your performance was off the charts amazing. Seriously.
Well, thank you very much.
It was beautiful. So we want everybody to come out and see The King and I, especially live on stage. It is just so, you forget how gorgeous it really, really is. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's just such an epic tale, and when you have the pageantry and these wonderful costumes and just the grand scale of the music, all of it is just it's a beautiful piece.
It really is, and talking about that from the authentic, costumes to the set design, the tender music, and of course the chemistry between Anna and the King. So, what has been your favorite part of the production?
It's for me. It's always the process of putting the show together, the rehearsal time. I actually sort of mourn when it's quote unquote frozen, and then the show is now set, because I love the time when you get to play around and try different choices, and luckily I have a fantastic partner with Betsy Morgan as Mrs. Anna. She's a real pro. She's done the role. She understudied Kelly O'Hara in the Lincoln Center production, and she knows it, and she just owns that. And it really was from day one. We kind of just clicked in terms of the way we work.
Right.
And I found that we could get pretty far into discovering who these people are, just based on how we were able to work so well together. And so yeah, the rehearsal process is always sort of my favorite time, when we get to make new discoveries every day.
So, even more impressive is that you are, of course, best known for playing Aladdin on Broadway, as well as Simba and the Lion King, and of course, so many other productions. Do you miss performing on Broadway?
I will always love performing on Broadway, but it's not the end all and be all of theater in this world. Especially Chicago is such a vibrant theater scene, and I miss the people, the community there. I have a lot of friends there that I don't get to see as much, having moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
And so that's what I miss most, and seeing my friends shine on the stage in their productions there. But in terms of the quality of work, there's just such great work out here, and I'm happy to be finally, sort of establishing myself here in this community.
Absolutely. So, the first time you walked out on stage, on a Broadway stage, do you remember how it felt?
I do. My Broadway opening was, I was playing Marius and Les Mis in the 2006 revival, and I was dressed as a convict because in the beginning the chain gang comes out, right? And I had my hand on the shoulder of the guy in front of me, and we're pretending that we have chains, and we're about to go on stage, and you hear that downbeat, bum 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 bum, and the orchestra, an exhilarating feeling. I'll never forget that.
That is amazing. Was there ever a time that you thought to yourself, if I don't go into musical theater, what would I be? If I don't go into theater or acting,
Yeah.
What would you have done?
I have been asked that question before, and
Yeah.
it's funny. I think as a young Adam Jacobs, I fancied myself as a young Indiana Jones, right? So probably an archaeologist or a professional treasure hunter. There's those people who search for artifacts.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But the sciences, I was definitely drawn toward the sciences as a kid, astronomy, biology, chemistry, all that stuff. So archaeology being a major one, with Indiana Jones movies.
I love that. You moved from New York, like you said, to Chicago. So, what are some of the big differences besides the fact that you actually have land, right, and grass?
It's the space. It's just, you have space, not only physical space, but just emotional space. Right? You can just the nature. I live close to Lake Michigan now, and um, and I grew up on the beaches of California.
Okay.
So being close to the water was sort of important to me wherever I decide to live. And so, but having nature nearby and having a backyard for my kids to run around, it's a major difference in quality of life from New York City to Chicago, and of course the people here, that Midwest mentality
Yeah.
of just kindness and openness.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely different, but
Yeah.
that's so I read that your wife was also in musical theater, and
Yes.
even your little twin boys are into musical theater. So is everyone singing and dancing all the time at your house?
We have music playing quite often, quite regularly.
Can I be invited?
Yeah, anytime. Come on by.
I love that.
Put on some tunes, but yeah, no, my boys are very much into sports right now. So even
Okay.
though they are musical, they have a musical ear, and they love singing and dancing. I'm not. They don't have the desire to get up on a stage as of right now. That may change,
Right.
and they do decide to go in that direction. Obviously, I will support them.
Right.
But I'm not going to push them in that direction.
So do they know what you do for a living?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, when they were really young,
Yeah.
they would see the Aladdin animated film and be like, "That's you, that's Daddy," and I'd be like, "Well, kind of," and have to sort of explain. I'm not a cartoon, but yeah, they're like, "So you're famous?" They asked me the other day, "How
Yeah.
famous are you?" I'm like, they're like, "Are you as famous as Shawn Mendes?" I was
Right.
like, "No, I'm not as famous as Shawn Mendes."
That's
So,
hysterical.
yeah.
Are you like Justin Bieber? Well, not
No,
as
no, honey. No, I'm not.
right. Well, let's talk about, your solo album. You did this a while back. Right Where
Yeah.
I Belong is the name of it, Songs of Alan Menken. So how did you decide on this project? How did that come about?
And I didn't want it to make just a generic Broadway album. And I happened to be working with the great Alan Menken, EGOT winner.
Right.
And I thought, has anybody done an album of his music? And I quickly Googled it, saw that nobody had, to my disbelief. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do this. And so I told him about it. He invited me up to his mansion up in, and we went through his entire catalog of music. And I said specifically, I want hero songs, underdog songs. And he spent a whole day with me. And I was just like so grateful. And we found some songs that were sort of unknown, and of course some classics. And I put together this piece, this album, which feels sort of like a collector's album, which was what I was going for, sort of like a tribute collector's type of thing. And all the songs on there are written by him, and they're just beautiful songs. And I worked with my arranger Jim Abbott to make them slightly my own, and put my own sort of flavor on them. And I had a great co-producer, and we put this thing together, and it's been great. It's been streaming on Spotify,
Right.
like crazy. So it's awesome. It's been really great.
It really is. Oh my gosh, it is fabulous. Well, I know how busy you are. I know that we got shows for you. So, Adam, thank you again for joining us. And don't miss Live on Stage. I'm telling you, The King and I playing now through May 22nd at the Drury Lane Theater. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.